Hello friends, welcome to Gyan Gurukul e-classes. Today we will see the diagrammatic representation of the various kinds of returns to scale, that is increasing returns to scale, decreasing returns to scale and constant returns to scale. Okay, so uh, today we will see it with the help of isoquants, right? With the help of isoquants. So let's start. Let me draw the diagram first. Okay, so first we will see what is constant returns to scale with the help of this diagram, right? So here I am taking labor and here I am taking capital, right? Okay. Now initially suppose the producer was producing at this point, okay, over here, right? Okay, at this point. So let's say at this point this is 2 and this is 2 units of capital, right? That means the labor is using 2 units of that the producer is using 2 units of labor and 2 units of capital and producing at this very point. Okay, let's name this point as point A. Okay, now suppose he increase both the two factors of production by 100%. Okay, he increased by 100%. That means now he is using 4 units of labor and 4 units of capital, right? Say this is the 4 units of labor and this is say 4 units of capital. Okay, now we get a point here, over here, say here, right? uh, at this point also we will get a new indifference curve, right? We will get a new indifference curve. Okay, let's say this is I1. Okay, this is I1 and this is say I2. Okay, this is I2. Now if, okay, if once again let me complete this. See, both I1 and I2 are showing or representing two different levels of output, right? Because each of the isoquants represents a particular level of output. Clear? So let's suppose that I1 is representing x1 units of output. Okay, I1 is representing x1 units of output. Clear? Now if at this new point, say point B, when when the producer is producing with 4 units of labor and 4 units of capital, right? If at this point the I2 isoquant represents a output which is exactly two times the output represented by I1 curve, right? Two times the output represented by I1 curve. Okay, see, this is the output of I1, right? And this is the output of I2. Okay, right? If the output of I1 is x1, then output of I2 is twice x1. Okay, or if we write it numerically, suppose this was 5 units, then this is 10 units, right? That is twofold. Or we can say there is 100% increase in output between I1 to I2, right? There is 100% increase in output, right? In this case, what have happened? See, you have increased both the factors of production by 100%, right? From 2 units of labor to 4 units of labor, and similarly 2 units of capital to what, 4 units of capital, right? See, 2 units of labor to 4 units of labor, that is 100% increase in labor. Similarly 2 units of capital to what, 4 units of capital. That means 100% increase in factors of production, right? And this 100% increase in factors of production have ultimately put us in a isoquant which represents an output that is also 100% higher than the previous output. Okay, the output represented by the previous isoquant was 5 and the output represented by new isoquant is 10, which is 100% higher than as the previous one, right? That is twice. If it was x1, then it is now twice x1. Clear? Okay, that means what? That means the proportionate increase in output is exactly equal to the proportionate increase in factors of production, right? And when both the output and factors of production increases in the same proportion, that means we are talking about the constant returns to scale, right? We are talking about the what? We are talking about a constant returns to scale, right? So we have done it down. Now let's see uh, increasing returns to scale. Okay, let's see increasing returns to scale, right? Okay, Now see, uh, let me move this down. Capital labor. Okay, naming the axis is very important. Okay, you should name them right. So let's see now. Take the previous example. Say it was using 2 units of labor and 2 units of capital, right? 2 units of labor and 2 units of capital. Okay, and it was in this isoquant here. It was in this isoquant here, right? Say at point A. Okay, at point A it was using 2 units of labor and 2 units of capital, right? Now say both the two factors of production are increased by 100%. That means it will again increase to 4 units of labor and 4 units of capital. Sorry, yes, 4 units of labor and 4 units of capital, right? Now we got a new point here. Okay, we got a new point here, and let's say this is another isoquant. Okay, if this is I1, then this means I2. Okay, this means I2, right? So this is point B. Now if, okay, if it is that the output at isoquant, what I1 is x. Okay, it is x. Output at isoquant I1 is x. Now if the output, okay, output at I2 is say let's say it is y. Okay, at I2, right, at I2 the output is say y. Okay, and at I1 the output is say x, right? Now if such that the relation between x and y is such that y, okay, or the output at I2 is greater than twice the increase in x. Okay, twice the increase in x, or it is greater than the 100% increase in output. Okay, it is greater than the 100% increase in output from what, from here. Okay, from this isoquant to this isoquant. Okay, see, this isoquant was representing a output level x. Okay, output level x, and this isoquant is representing a output level y, but y is greater than, okay, y is greater than twice the increase in uh, x, or y is greater than twice the amount of x, right? If I have to show you numerically, suppose uh, initially it was 5, okay, at this point. Now here at I2 output is such that it is 12, right? Output is 12. Now see, if output y is 12, then obviously it is twice x. What was x? X was 5, right? X was 5. Okay, now multiply 5 by 2, it would give us 10, and obviously 12 is greater than 10, right? 12 is greater than 10. That means when we increase the factors of production by 100%, right? When we increase the factors of production by 100% from 2 to 4, right, the output have increased more than 100%. Okay, the output have increased more than 100%. If it would have increased by 100%, then it should have been 10, right? It should have been 10, but as it is greater than 10, that is 12. That means this is the curve representing a higher level of uh, proportionate increase in output. And let's say there is another isoquant over here. Okay, let's say there is another isoquant over here, and let's denote it with the dotted line. Okay, let's denote it with a dotted line, and let's name it I3. Okay, I3. Now see, this isoquant represents the output level which is exactly twice x. Okay, which is exactly twice x, or we can say which is exactly 10 units of output, right? Right? But here, okay, at this curve we don't get the combination of labor and capital of 4 units of labor and 4 units of capital. This combination is not achieved here. Okay, this combination is achieved only at this isoquant, that is I2, right? Any point below this isoquant, okay, any point below this isoquant must increase at least one of the factors of production. Okay, any point below this isoquant must decrease at least one of the factors of production. Okay, in that case, our assumption that we have increased the factors of production by 100%, that would not valid. Okay, that would not valid. In this isoquant, it is I3, take any point, say this. Okay, this point. So see, here we are getting two points. Say, let's let's say it is 3 units of labor and 3 units of capital, okay, at this isoquant, 3 units of labor and 3 units of capital, right? Now when you increase from 2 units to 3 units, there is not 100% increase in output, there is less increase in output, right? There is less increase in output, and that is why we are talking about when we increase the output by, you know, twice the amount than before, or by 100%, and we get an output level which is, you know, greater than the twice of the initial output. That is, it is greater than the twice the amount of the initial output, right? That means the proportionate increase in output is now greater than the proportionate increase in factors of production. Clear? Okay, now let's talk about this is increasing returns to scale, right? This is increasing returns to scale, okay. And now we will talk about the last one, that is the decreasing returns to scale, okay. We will talk about now the decreasing returns to scale. So let me draw it again. It is labor and this is capital, right? This is labor, this is capital. Now suppose initially at I1, okay, initially at I1, at this point with 2 units of labor and 2 units of capital, okay, 2 units of labor and 2 units of capital. Just like the previous example, we have increased both the two factors of production, okay, both the two factors of production by 100%, okay. That means 4 units of capital and there is 4 units of labor, okay, 4 units of capital and 4 units of labor. So we get a new isoquant, okay. At this point 4 units of labor and 4 units of capital, we get a new isoquant which is called, say, I2, okay, I2. This time what happens, see, this time if the, you know, if the output represented by I1 is X, then the and the output represented by I2 is, you know, Y, okay, it is Y, then the relation is such that Y is, you know, less than twice the output of initial output, okay, twice, that is Y is less than twice X, okay, Y is less than twice X, okay. That means the output, if the output represented at this isoquant, that is I1 is 5, okay, I1 is 5, then what is the output if we increase the output by 100%, okay, or we increase the output by twice the initial level, then it should have been 10, right? It should have been 10, okay, that is twice x is equals to 10. But now the output represented by this curve, okay, this isoquant, that is I2, right? The output represented by I2 is such that it is less than 10, okay, it is less than 10, or it is less than twice the initial output, right? That means when we increase the factors of production by 100%, okay, when we increase the factors of production by 100%, output increases by such an percent, let's say it is increased by z percent, okay, it is increased by z percent, and this z percent is less than 100%, right? In other sense, we can say like this, that if you increase the factors of production by 100%, then output is increased by z percent, which is, and the z percent is what? Z percent is less than 100%, right? Right? It may be 90%, it may be 80%, or it may be 50%, 60%, or anything between that, that is less than 100, right? Okay. So in that case, we call it a decreasing returns to scale. Okay, it is decreasing returns to scale, right? That means when we increase both the two factors of production twice the initial amount, output is increased by such an amount which is less than the twice the initial output, okay, which is less than twice the initial output. Clear? So let's say there is another isoquant here, over here, right? Over here, let's say another isoquant we get it, say I3, okay, I3. Now I3 is the isoquant which represents a output, okay, which represents a output which is exactly equal to twice x, okay, which is exactly equal to twice x, or which is exactly equal to the 100% increase in the in the initial output, okay, right? If the initial output was 5, when we increase the output by 100%, then we get another 5, that means total 10, right? Total 10, Now this isoquant here represents, that means this isoquant here represents output 10 or output twice x, right? Clear? So this is called constant, sorry, the decreasing returns to scale. So with this, the returns to scale chapter is here closed, right? uh, so if you have any doubts, then please know us in the comment section, and if you like our videos, then hit the like button and share our videos as much as you can, so that others could also reach to our videos. And also don't forget to subscribe, right, so that you get the notification of our videos, as well as there are many other videos relating to different subjects in our channel. Go check them also. Okay, thank you.